Hi everyone and welcome to NameHero.com's Managed Cloud Servers. We're really proud to get these kicked out the gate and introduce them to you. Basically what we're offering here is these are our managed cloud servers which are completely dedicated. So as soon as you sign up for any of these packages, you're going to actually have that amount of RAM, that amount of bandwidth, that amount of disk space, this dedicated just to your instance. And can be scaled in real time. So regardless of your project, you can start out with just the 15 gigabyte SSD and then scale up as your project calls necessary. You can also scale up as far as the processor is concerned for more computing power, and you can also scale up for your RAM. Now, this our first 4 gigabyte SSD one here, this is going to be great for those of you that are just getting started with an ad server or a piece of software that requires a lot of resources, because for under $50 a month, we're offering you a lot of power here. And this 15 gigabyte space can definitely also be upgraded as you move along. So this is definitely going to be very popular very quickly. So what I want to do is just walk through how easy it is to get your own cloud server online. You don't need to know anything. If you know nothing about SSH or dedicated server management, it doesn't matter. You don't need to. We make everything very simple here in the cloud. So if you want, you can go through our page here and just kind of review all the specifics. By far, we put a star here by the 8 gigabyte SSD because that's going to be pretty much 90% people will never leave the 8 gigabyte SSD. It's going to have enough space and enough memory and enough processing power to do about everything you need. And you can see as we kick these out the gate, we're offering that for it's $99 a month. But to get started, you can definitely start off with the 4 gigabyte, and that also might take care of a lot of your needs as well, and that's under $50 a month for our special here. So our daily pricing's right here, $1.61 a day, so that's pretty good, especially if your website's making $10 a day. You know, you're not spending that much and keeping it online. So what you're going to do is you're going to click here and click the deploy button. Now again, these servers are built in real time. So as soon as you fill out your information, your server is going to be built and placed online. Okay, so what I like to do is you have to name it. So what I like to call it, and for example, let's just say we're going to do this for namehero.org, one of our domains. So let's say we want to call this alpha.namehero.org. Okay, and then we have to name the name server prefix. This is simple. This is just what we're going to put in all our domains we want on this server. This is what we're going to put in at GoDaddy or here at NameHero to direct your domain to the server. So we just have to name these, and you can call these whatever, but the most common is ns1.namehero.net and ns2.namehero.net or .org, whatever your domain is, you want to insert that in here for your name server. And you want to make sure you fill these out correctly, because if you type any of these in incorrectly, well, since it's built in real time, then you're going to actually have to submit a ticket to us, and we'll have to go back in and manually edit it. So you want to make sure you configure your server correctly here. And we'll pop up an error for most things, but if you spell something wrong, it might kind of mess with your configuration. So you just kind of double check these fields as you move along. I like to select a strong group password, so you can use a password generator. I'm just going to use something really strong here, a bunch of random characters. Okay, next we can configure it. Each one of our managed servers comes with 2 dedicated IP addresses. If you need more, we offer the chance to order up to 8. So you can do that right here. If you need more than 2, you can add those on for an additional fee. By stock, all of our managed servers have 5 terabytes of bandwidth. Okay, and now this is part of our bandwidth is free, and another part of it we charge for. Okay, so you're not going to run out to 5 terabytes, most likely. If you do, then you can upgrade it, but most of you are not going to. All of the incoming bandwidth is free, so all the traffic to your site is free. Anything else is what we have to charge for. So like I said, I doubt anyone's going to use up the 5 terabytes unless you're doing a lot of video streaming, at which point we could upgrade you. But it's definitely there if you need it, and it's in the cloud, so it can be even done as you approach your limit. Next is the backup. If you want to add a backup plan to this, what this does is it takes all your data that's already in the cloud, and then it backs it up to our secure offsite location. So it's in case the cloud melts down, which we don't see that happening, but a lot of customers do want to select this just because just say something would happen that you overwrite something, you could always restore your backup. And again, these are kept off site So just in case, I recommend that everyone does at least retain 1 day of backups. If you're a little bit more paranoid, 2 or 3 days, and you can go all the way up to 4 days, and we can retain those for you. I'm just going to keep it disabled for our demonstration here. Okay, next is the available add-ons. Some of you may be interested in the Lightspeed web server. We currently use this on our reseller cloud as well as our web hosting accounts, our basic hosting accounts. And it's basically 9 times faster than Apache. We're going to configure and set this up though for you if you want to add it. But it does require a separate license for your server. So remember, since this is dedicated, you have to have your own software license to run it. So this one requires a 2 CPU core license, which is $40 a month, and you can select it here. If you want to go out and buy Lightspeed on your own, you can do that. It's your server. You're free to do whatever. But if you want us to manage, install, and keep it updated, that's the deal we have worked out with them. MariaDB, that's also very popular on our reseller cloud and our regular cloud. We will install and set that up for a one-time fee of $20. That basically, it's a replacement for MySQL, but it gives a higher performance, and we're seeing a lot of people use that. So that's one-time fee of $20, and for this particular server, the Lightspeed license would be $40 extra a month if you want to use that. Okay, so we're just going to add to cart and check out after we make sure we've got everything. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and complete the payment process, and then I'll resume the video and show the rest of the setup. Okay, after the server's built, it takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, just depending on kind of the configuration that you selected. It may take up to a half hour at the most. If so, just go grab a cup of coffee. That's what I did. But now this is a screen that shows everything about your server and where you can control it and whatnot. So if you scroll down here, you can see you've got the options to start the server, which it's already running. You can turn it off, shut it down. You can reboot. You can view the history of everything, and you can also log into your control panel, which is what we're about to do. But if you scroll down a little further, you can see this is the name that you gave the server earlier, and that's why I said it's very important that you enter that correctly, because it's going to be used throughout the configuration. This is going to be your primary IP address. If you're an advanced user and you want to begin shelling in, you can go ahead and shell in with this IP and password. But if you don't want to shell in, you don't have to. I'm going to show you exactly how to set your site up. But you can scroll on down and you can see some charts and stuff over time. These charts will populate with data from bandwidth and server load usage. Also, this will show you your physical and virtual memory and all the good stuff that you need to know about your server. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up the control panel now. So I like to copy this and click the login. We're going to click paste. Now, if it's your first time login, you might get an SSL error, and that's because obviously it's a new server, so you don't have your SSL certificate installed. Now what I recommend doing is purchasing an SSL certificate from us and submitting a ticket, and we'll install it for you. It's not a huge deal if you're not using SSL on your site, but if you are, which I recommend, have us install that for you. I think they're around $15 a year now, so really we've got some really good deals on those not to do that. Okay, so you can go ahead and log in. And once you do that, if it's your first time logging in, I actually just logged into this machine right before I started back the video, and you need to accept the terms. So just read through those and accept them. Very simple. Okay, the first thing I like to do then, once I get in, is look at the basic setup, and you're going to see my email address is listed in here. Basically, you want to make sure that you fill that out for yourself. You want your email address. You don't want my email address in there. You want to make sure that your email address is there, so if a problem happens with your server, it lets you know. And of course, we're going to manage the server for you, so if you ever have a problem with it, we're going to fix it, but make sure you send us those emails. Same here in the contact and the basic information. You can go through there and just look. But the next important thing is your name servers, because these are what you're going to set your domain to point to the server. Now, if you're using like Cloudflare, that's fine. You can use Cloudflare. You're just going to set an A record to this IP. Okay, so if you're using Cloudflare, you just want to set your A record to here. If you're going to use your own name servers, then you want to definitely assign it an IP. Now, regardless of using Cloudflare, you still probably want to do this just so everything is binded together. So that's all we do is we'll click Assign IP, and then we're going to click Assign an A entry. Okay, add the entry, and close. And we're going to do the same thing for NS2. We're going to assign it an IP address, we're going to close it, we're going to add the A entry. Now remember, each one of our servers comes with 2 IPs just to do that. So that's all done. Okay, now the next step, what you need to do, and you can go, I'll link this in the blog post as well, but you can, you need to go to your domain name registrar and register these name servers. If you registered it with us at Name Hero, then you would simply do that in the Name Hero control panel. You just click on the domain, click register name servers, type in the ns1.yourdomain.whatever, give it the IP address, and the same for the ns2. Once again, if you have any trouble, we can do that for you. If you did not register your name with us, you can transfer your name to us, and that makes it a lot easier. So feel free to reach out to our support team if you need help transferring your name over to us. But it's definitely easier if you have everything managed at Name Hero, definitely makes your life a lot easier. Okay, so really that's all that needs to be done. So now we can type in here create. So create a new account. And now we're actually ready to add our domain. So for this example, we're just going to use the namehero.org. And we can call it whatever. We can just leave it Name Hero. Just going to enter a password. Actually, you can use the password generator, which I recommend. It makes it a strong one instead of me sitting here trying to type one. You can add your email address in here too. This is, you know, if you're creating this for your own site, then you don't really have to worry about it. But if, say, you have a webmaster or a client site, you'd want to add their email address in here. You can set up packages, but you don't necessarily have to. You can just click select options manually, and you can go ahead and set up all the disk space you need, all the bandwidth you need for this site. And you know your server's got a lot of resources, so I just normally leave these all to unlimited and just kind of watch it. So I just go through here. Now your system comes with 2 IP addresses, so you can order more if you want to, but this is where you assign it a dedicated IP address. So you can one IP address is going to be shared and the other one can be dedicated. So you can go ahead and just use one of those IP addresses if you want to do that. I recommend leaving shell access off for each site. The reason being, it's just a security flaw. You know, you can shell into the main server, but I just leave it off for each account just so people can't get in there or try to get into it. Okay, now you can make it a reseller if you want this to be a reseller account. Most of you do not, so just leave that default. Leave your DNS setting to default. Now, if you're going to use Cloudflare, you can click Use the name server specified at the domain's registrar, and that will make sure it pulls whatever is at your registrar. Okay, but if not, just leave it default. And a lot of times I like to click Automatically Detect mail configuration. You can do that if you're using, say, Gmail for your mail. You can just click automatically, and it will do that. All right, create account. Just takes just a second to provision, and we can go to now list accounts, and you can see namehero.org is set up. So we click the cPanel link, and this is what you're probably most familiar with. Those of you that have had hosted accounts for a while, here's your cPanel for your domain name. This is where you can go in, and you can see you got your file manager here. You have your FTP accounts, anything you need to do now. You can go create databases in here. You can scroll down here, and you can use the apps installer. You might need us to activate your license, but if so, that's fine. We can activate that for you. If this is your first time running it, you need to click here, and you would probably need to activate your Softalicious license. It might actually be on this server already, but if it's not active on yours, just let us know and we'll activate that. That's definitely free of charge. But we can install WordPress here and get going with that. And there's many other one-click applications on here as well, such as the Revive ad server, such as Prosper 202. A lot of good stuff in there. So that's really all there is to it, to having your own dedicated server set up and online, under $50 a month, a lot of bandwidth, a lot of RAM. So if you have any further questions, feel free to let us know. If any bit of this process intimidates you and you want us to set up for you, if you want us to put your site on the server for you, just submit a ticket. We'd be more than happy to do it for you. If you, again, have any questions, you can feel free to leave comments on the blog here, and I'll get right back to you. So thanks a bunch. We look forward to serving you.